The remorse is what hurts me the most. This is a bit of an outburst, but I needed to get it off my chest. The wedding of my wife, 30 female, and myself, 33 male, took place 2 weeks ago. We have been together for 8 years, married for 5, and have 2 children. A little background information will be provided to assist understand some aspects later on. We met because we were both interested in the punk music scene and spent a lot of time together after that. Even if I became bored of going to concerts and shows as the years went by, my wife remains a fan of these events. Consequently, she expressed an interest in attending a performance, which I declined as is customary, but she went with a group of our friends, and as is customary, I encouraged her to have a good time. Later in the evening, I get a Snapchat from one of my concert companions. This image is of another friend at the bar behaving weirdly, with the words written over it. I'm not sure why they handed it to me, but then the camera pans and zooms in on my wife, who is conversing with a guy who seems to be enjoying each other's company, and I'm confused as to why they gave it to me. Nothing physical, just incredibly intimate conversation that seems to be quite enticing in nature. In an attempt to find out what's going on, I send them an email, but I never get a response. I start texting my wife, but she doesn't answer. I am frustrated. I had complete faith in my wife, and despite the fact that the wording above the video was concerning, I told myself that everything was okay and attempted to sleep. This, however, is not acceptable. I cannot sleep, and when I do manage to go to sleep, I awaken with a tense stomach, checking my phone for messages, which there are none. I wake up to the sound of the door opening and mild whimpering at 4 a.m. right now. I'm lying in bed, and my heart is racing. She walks into the room, sits by my side, I'm pretending to be sleeping, and shakes me, indicating that we need to talk about something. She claims to have had an encounter with another person that night. My whole world came crashing down in the time it took me to say those words. My blood felt like it was on fire, and I felt like I was getting needle pin all over my body from needle pin all over my body. I'm just sitting here in misery right now. She reached out for my hand, but I rebuffed her advances. She is weeping and expresses sorrow and remorse for her actions, as well as her apologies. In order for her to understand how badly I've been injured, I plead for more information. She reports that they met during the concert, chatted, and were friends after that. She said that she had lost herself, and that it felt like we were on our first date all over again. Upon further investigation, she stated that they tried to pull her away, but she lied and claimed that he was an old acquaintance with whom they were having a catch-up. After leaving the concert with him, she went to his home to have with him. It was after having with her boyfriend that she says she fell asleep briefly before awakening and asking, "What have I just done?" She says she has to go and tells him that she has been crying the whole taxi ride back to her apartment. How could you, and why did you? Are the first questions I ask. Everything's all of it. It was her only explanation. She had renewed her first date feelings with him, and he reminded her of herself when she first met me. We had a wonderful marriage together. There is a lot of affection, communication, love, and understanding amongst people. She had no issues with her marriage at the time. Everything had been a colossal mistake. I'm sure she's apologetic. I'm well aware of how sad she is. That is the most difficult component of the situation. I could understand if I was failing as a husband, and she was dissatisfied with my performance. Everything, on the other hand, was fine. The previous 2 weeks have seen her face a lot of flack from friends and family members for being very honest about what she's gone through. Every day, I see on her face how much she wishes she could go back in time and how much she wants to reconcile with her ex-husband and children. My feelings were amazing when I woke up yesterday, must have had a lovely dream or something. And I thought about all the excellent things we had and how I shouldn't let anything ruin what we both believed to be a perfect marriage. When I went to inform her that I wanted to collaborate on this project, I was truly excited. However, as soon as I saw her, everything went out the window. I'm thinking of getting a divorce. Please accept my apologies for the suffocating amount of text. Instead of crying into a pillow, I wanted to get this out into the open somewhere, anywhere. I condensed the content since it was getting unwieldy in its length. Please feel free to ask any questions you may have. Edit. This is generating a lot more interest than I had anticipated it would. I'd want to express my gratitude to everyone for their assistance. Everyone who has remarked, "It's only been 2 weeks, and I'm already on the verge of divorcing," I completely understand. I'm not planning on consulting with an attorney anytime soon. The only thing I was intending to do was express my present state of mind. We will initially split, but I have made it clear to her that I want to divorce her in the near future. I'm not sure whether the time apart will be useful to me or detrimental. Thinking about our future together, I just do not see myself being able to deal with the baggage and triggers that have accrued, and I feel it would be better for me to start over from the beginning. Update: there is just a brief background explanation. In early March, my wife and I had a one-night affair, which she told me about the night before D-Day. I was shocked. I'm almost certain that I'm going to be divorced. I had hoped to complete this task sooner, but I got a little carried away when focusing on my own appearance. She moved out around 2 weeks after my last post was published early April, and it really feels as though a curse has been lifted off my shoulders. That month of having her here, seeing her every day, and constantly being reminded of what she had done had a devastating effect on me. I was depressed and prone to abrupt mood swings. I'd get a sudden burst of wrath and lose control. After she's gone, I don't dread going back home or getting out of bed in the morning anymore. I'm going out and doing some work around the house, and I'm feeling good about it. It's been a pleasant experience. In the meanwhile, she has moved in with her mother, who is probably the only person who would accept her. Until she can find a place of her own, or until I take her back, neither of which is likely. Throughout this process, my friends have been really helpful and supportive of me. There are just a few of individuals who are still willing to speak with her, even if they disagree with what she has done. I happened to run into one of these friends, who also happens to be her coworker, and she told me that she is not doing well at the moment. Depressed, not functioning well at work, and so on are all possibilities. I can't deny that hearing that made me grin, despite the fact that I don't wish her any special misery. I did inquire as to whether she had provided her with any rationale for doing so. I got a message that was very similar to mine, with the addition that she was feeling selfish and wanted to be alone for a night, which she now regrets. This prompts me to seek professional help. Having previously said that when she left the house, I started to emerge from my depression, and that I had a wonderful support network in the form of my friends, I decided not to seek counseling at this time. She expressed an interest in attending couples counseling, but I denied and recommended her to figure things out on her own. Many people have inquired as to why I am so willing to walk away from this marriage. I understand that some people are able to move on from a situation like this, but I am not one of them. It would infect me if I stayed with her for an extended period of time. It would spread over time, and I would just degenerate into nothingness. But it isn't what I want, and I would like to start again. Do I have a strong desire for her? Yes. But I miss my wife before she cheated on me. The person she has become is completely different from the one I married. This may have been a bit rambling, but I was merely attempting to get across the most of the main points without going on for too long a time. On the whole, I'm doing well, and I'm working hard to find a way to be happy again. I've made the decision to cope with my partner's infidelity on my own.